Welcome back to Railroads Online, and this is episode 3 of the new Splines Tutorials. And in this episode, we are going to build some Ys, and I'll show you how easy it is in these new splines to actually build a Y. The first thing we'll do is we will do some marking out. So we will put down a few pieces of track, and these are just to be used as measurements. We need to set these grades to the direction, as we'll build a flat Y first, and we'll put it on circle lock mode so we build a straight line. And if you look there in the construction menu, you can see that as I pull the piece out, it's actually telling me what length of track I'm going to place. So you can use the track as a measuring stick. So what we'll actually do here is we want to have a 35, and something else we also need to change is we need to change, and it's the wrong button, it's that button. We need to change the grid to 100 so it snaps to every meter. And what we want here is we want to have about a 35 meter radius on the corners, and if you put in measurements of 35 meters, one there, and now we'll put another one in and we'll snap it to this point here, but we will turn it. Need to change the increments back to 10. We want it on 0, which is due west. We put a measurement this way. We need to change the increments back to 100 again so it snaps to the length. And another one here, 35 meters. And then come back to our origin here. And again, we will change back to 10 so that we can change the radius. We'll go all the way around, and we want this one on 90. And now we've got to go back to the 100 meter snap, the 35 out this direction. Now this is marked out for us the position of where and we'll delete this first section because it did not snap to the grid correctly. Put it on rails. To 10, spin it round to 180, which is 270 degrees, and we need to snap it again to 100 grid, which should put us there, and pull it out to 35. Okay, now what these three pieces do is they measure out our distances for where we need to place the switches at. So now we can grab our switches, and of course, because I'm facing the wrong direction, you can spin the switches, which is something that you never used to be able to do in the old system. You can spin the switch round to be 90 degrees. We'll line it up here somewhere close to where the end is. And if we actually put this on snap to 100, it will actually snap to the point of where that line is. And you can see it has left a short gap, but that's fine. And we'll come back to this end, and we're on the wrong kind of switch. We need to go to this switch for this side, and again we need to rotate it, put it back on 10, and rotate it around so that it's on 270, put it back onto the meter snap, and it will show us the first one that has a gap, and there we go, that's got our position down for this one. And again we run over and do the same thing again on this one over here. Put it on 10 so we can get increments of 10 as we rotate it, And then we want to be increments of 100 to snap it to the grid. And apparently that's not going to work. So we're going to have to go back to increments of 10, which will allow us to line it up with this piece here. And now we can snap it in. And now we've got our placement for where we need to place the 3 switches at. We can delete the lengths we use as measuring sticks. Now the last step is, of course, and this is very easy, you just have to snap to this end, make sure circle mode is turned off, and come over to this point here, and you will need to rotate the end so that it somewhere lines up with the link you want to connect it to, and make sure you're going to connect it to the right link and not the other one. Otherwise we'll have to delete it and do it again. And too far, back this way. And there we go, links in. And we come over and we'll connect this one. And pull it over to this one here. And again, we have to rotate it so that it's somewhere near where we want it to link up to. And then it'll link in. And then the same with this one. And rotate it so that it lines up somewhere close. And snap it in. And there we go. We have built a Y with about a curve radius of 35 meters because we've actually measured out the radius this way, 35, and then measured this way, 35. So that makes it very easy to be able to build a Y in this new system. A lot easier than what it used to be in the old splines. Now, I've actually gotten stuck in here. So what we'll do is we'll delete all of these. And well, sometimes you might not want to put a Y in where it's straight along this bottom edge. And there's a way to do that as well. And we'll come over here where we've got a little bit more room. Okay. We'll place down our first. We're going to do the same thing again as what we did before, but this time we're actually going to put in a Y that has got the same curve on every single side. And we're going to build this one facing this direction. And again, we'll put it on circle mode so that we can build a straight line. And we need it on 1 meter grid increments. And we'll pull it out to 35 meters. Now we have placed this at 330 degrees. Now because we want to put 3 sides to this, a third of a circle is 120 degrees for each spur. So we want to take 120 from 330, which leaves us 210. So we'll spin this around to 210. And this will give us our position for the one that goes this side. We need to snap it again to the meter. And place down a length that is 35. Right there, just like that. Come back over here to the center, and again we'll do the put it on the 10s, and now we need to take 120 from this angle again, which will leave us with, should be 90. Take it all the way down to 90. Put it on the meter snap so that we snap to the right spot to start off with. It doesn't look like it's going to give us the center, so we might have to go to the 50 centimeter. And no, that's still not going to quite give us center, so we'll go to the 10. Now we'll change to the 1 meter snap so that we can put down an exact length of 35. And as you can see, we have put off 3 tracks, all 120 degrees from each other. And to put in the the actual crossovers now is the same method as we used before. We will need to put it on 10, rotate them around 180 degrees. So this one should be 270, and line it up to where the track is that we've put down. And as soon as you see a tiny little gap, where are we? Right about there, I reckon. That's left us a tiny little gap there on that one lining up. Now we'll come over and do this one. And rotate it around until it lines up. And it should be lined up right. Move forward until it lines up. And you can see that it's, because we're at a funny angle, the actual grid is snapped to the world and not to the direction you're placing, which is a bit of a problem. And you've got to make sure, see how it's stood up, you've got to make sure it sits down flat. And we need to actually come one back. There we go. Now we're lined up straight. And we should have left a little gap, and we have not left a gap, but that's okay, as long as we're lined up to the track. And one more time, we need to put in another switch over this side, which is spin it around again. Whoop, one too far. And again, same as we did on the last one, where it did not want to stand up, because we're not 90 degrees to the world grid. We have to find that spot that just works, where it lines up, and I think that's about close. Let's go have a look at the other end, and that looks pretty good to me. And the last bit is we'll remove what we used here in the middle as the measuring sticks, and connect up the sections. So we need to turn circle mode off for this, same as we did last time. And that one's actually going to connect straight up for us. And connect onto this one, if it lets us. There we go. And connect over onto this one. And that's a little bit too far. We're going to have to turn it back a little bit so it lines up. There we go. Connect onto this one. And rotate it around so that it is somewhere lined up, and it'll give us a link, and that'll do it. So there we have it, a Y built with a 120 degrees. So it's a perfect try. This was very hard to do in the old system. Very hard to build in the old system, but it is extremely easy to build now. Well, that's all we have time for today in this episode. Hopefully your Ys that you build in the new splines will be so much neater than what they used to be. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode.